Yeah, good morning and welcome back to Mark's Railway Trails on yet another Sunday morning. And what you're looking at in front of you now is a plaque on Lee Green Station, the new station, which was opened on the 10th of October 2000. But that's not what we're on the trail today. Where I'm going to be taking you today on the trail is on a train journey, but we're going finding the oldest station building in the world that's still used on a passenger line, and it's not far from the station, and I'll tell you where it is, but you just don't know what's on your doorstep. And this station as well that we're visiting today is only the second station in the world that's got like a triangular platform and station where two lines run to it from different directions. So yeah, this is where we are this morning. It's another Sunday morning. It's a nice morning. Starting off, like I say, at Lee Green Station, the new station that was opened 10th of October 2000. But we're going to follow it down and get on the line. Like I said, this is Lee Green Station, brand new station built in 2000, and the ticket office is open now, so we'll get a return ticket. Hi mate, can you have a return ticket to Ellstown please? Is it 22? Thanks mate. Smashing, thanks mate. I just gave him a ticket now at the station, £3.10 return. Cheers mate, thank you very much. And like I say, return ticket to where we're going along the line, £3.10, so you can't knock that. But that's where we've just come down from Sherdley Park. Now I'm going to take you down now to the Lee Green Station. The ticket office is just opened now, so got our ticket. A lot of steps down here because they do it for disabled access, which is good. And so handy for me, this station, Lee Green. If you're going to Manchester, Liverpool, it's so cheap. If you go in your car, it costs you petrol, costs you more parking up. And if you look across there, one of the old bridges, we call it the Bull and Dog Bridge because it leads out to our favourite pub over there, the Bull and Dog. I'll keep it running. It's going down. Yeah. And this guy here, just get him on my blog. Nice to see a Manchester lad, all the way from my dad's home country of Moston. So nice to see him. And he's going to look at my blog, Mark's Railway Trails, later on.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice to see a Manchester lad. But yeah, this is Lee Green Station, and what a good job they did on it. As you can see, it's all electrified, which most of the trains are now. And if you look on the other side, right over there, that will take you to Liverpool, right down the line. And obviously going this way, you can see down the track, that takes you to Manchester. So it's so handy for us, you know. But again, look at the bridges. George Stephenson's design, you can see it like the one at Rainhill, not as posh as the one at Rainhill, because the one at Rainhill was obviously where they did the Rainhill trials, but you can just tell with the standard. It's been redone a little bit on top. They've put like a metal gate across the top, and that stops people, believe it or not, throwing things over and stuff onto the line. But we all call this the 1830 line because this is where the Great Procession came down this day. So you don't realise what history you've got on your doorstep, really. and if I'll take you right down to the edge of the platform, but I'll not go too far because I've been told off a few times, because when you get past a certain point they have an alarm, a hidden camera that triggers an alarm in the office. As I found out at Rainhill, so I'll not go too far down, but just so I can get a good shot really. But if you look right down there and right down the line, and if you go probably, I would say about a mile down the line, it's not far. You see where the red bridge is down there? So I'd say that's probably what, half a mile, going on to a mile past it. The old Lee Green Station was there, and if you've seen my blogs, we found the old Lee Green Station, and all that's left Lee Green Station is the old wooden steps as you walk down to the platform. The platform and everything's long gone, which is sad, but Network Rail use it for a bit of a side cutting to store stuff, believe it or not. And Lee Green Station, obviously the old station, the first timetable he had for Lee Green Station was 1831. So obviously it was set up in 1830 on, you know, as kind of a stopping point, and then the year later that's the first timetable that came on. So I like 1831, so again a lot of history there. They renamed it Sutton Station in 1844 for some reason, obviously because of the area. But that station at Lee Green was used a lot for freight as well, because they had so many collieries around here that it used to branch off and go up that way. Obviously to Lee Green, all the pits were up there, and I've done that walk as well when I found Lee Green Station, taking you through the old brickworks. So like I say, a lot of history. Yeah, they changed it to Sutton Station, they called it, but 4 years later it went back to Lee Green, to Lee Green Station in 1848, and it's a bit sad really, but it got closed in the 60s, the station. Obviously one of the Beechings cuts did it, but I think more so when the collieries were all shutting, they didn't need it then, and it was kind of in a far out place really, because you had, if you look right down there, you had the Junction and Shaw Street on the other end, so it probably wasn't as busy as the other stations really. But if you get on my Marks Railway Trails, you'll see we found the old Lee Green Station, and when you find it, if you look down the line, the old farmhouses are still there, and some of the old railwaymen's cottages. And that's what we'll be jumping on.
Manchester Oxford Road, Manchester Piccadilly, Walworth Road, Burnage, East Didsbury, Gatley, Field Green, Manchester Airport, Stile and Wilmslow. The next train to arrive at...
And here it comes now, but I'll just tell you, like say, the cottages are still there, and they were bombed quite a lot in the war, and it wasn't the cottages they were after, it was the track, because this line was used so much to get to Liverpool during the war effort, and the Nazis quite a few times went to bomb it, but missed it for some reason, maybe because of the countryside and stuff, but the cottages got it, and the old farmhouse, and luckily they're still there, which is nice to see. But it is Northern Rail. Look at that, on time. Can't note that. Here it comes in now, on the Northern Line. And the time on these trains here, they're pretty good, to be honest with you. Pretty good timetable. every time I've come, they're virtually to a couple of minutes. So if you're ever running a bit late, they can catch you out, you know. Oh. I'll keep it running as it's going along, and then you can see it. But yeah, bang on time as well. So
this is the northern service to Wilmslow. The next stop is St Helens Junction.
And as you can see, they're all on the line, you know. St Helens Junction next from there. But the trains these days, you look across there now, you know, you've got all the facilities on them as well. You've got toilets on them as well. And it's pretty clean as well. They are maintaining them in Northern Rail. But here we go, we're going down the line and try and get a better shot round here actually. There we go. In the old days you could open the windows on the train and look through. Coming down the line now into St Helens Junction. It does fly this train, you know, so you can probably not see a lot what we're passing. Yeah, St Helens Junction, when we did the line, the Runcorn Gap line, that's where it used to run to St Helens Junction as well. It used to branch off to St Helens Junction. But there we come, we're just pulling into St Helens Junction there. There we go, big car park on the left, massive car park at St Helens Junction, bigger than Lee Green. But Lee Green seems to get used a lot more than probably the junction really. You can see the access coming up to the station, but this has all been redone as well. But if you look at the station's brickwork again, you'd think you're at Rainhill. It was all done in a similar style. And the good thing about these old stations, we've still got some of the old waiting rooms in them as well, which you can go in and sit. And there's still like the old fireplaces and that was there from years ago. And again, they're looking after these stations. Lee Green's well looked after, and so is St Helens Junction really. You know, not as good as in the heyday in the 60s. Like if you look there where the weeds are going up on the pipe and things. In the 60s, they'd had flowers out and hanging baskets along here. But again, it's just sign of the times, you know. But yeah, if you look at the station buildings here now, you'd think you're at Rainhill. They're all done on a similar spec. But if you walk in them, you know, it's nice to see some of the old grills on the fireplaces and things. And they're still here, you know. So if you ever come in on this line, have a look at it and you'll see it. But we'll not be hanging on here long, and then we'll be off to the next stop. But yeah, nice Sunday morning this morning, and makes a change not being on the mountain bike and walking for miles as well. Here we go. And like I said, just one driver on these trains now. Sometimes you get a ticket person collecting your tickets, and sometimes you don't. I don't agree with that really. I think you should always have two people on a train line, definitely. There's the bridge going over the top now. But if you look down here now, there's a lot of work going on because all the bridges around St Helens Station are all collapsing. So they're having to redo all the bridge and the walls on it. So there we go. Ellstown Football Club used to be there on the left hand side, Alton Road, and then moved to Saints Rugby League Ground in the 90s, and unfortunately when the old ground shut, they had to find a new ground, unfortunately. But that's another story. They actually got shafted since Elderstown Football Club, and they bailed Saints out of it at the time. It's a bit sad really, but they did come back and find another ground, and Steve Ever, who did the football, helped him relocate to another ground for St Elderstown, which is nice to see. But now we're flying along now, coming out of St Helens. There we go. Like I say, you don't have to go far out to St Helens to look at the countryside, you know. Yeah, on the 1830 line, George Stephenson. And how well used is this line? And there we go. If you're wondering where we are now, we're going over the 9 Arches. There you go, you can just see how high we're up. The 9 Arches Bridge, which, if you're wondering why it's so high, you have to leave a clearance of 18.3 metres for the Mersey sailboats to go underneath, and another listed building now, the 9 Arches, and you've seen that on my walks as well. But we're coming into Ellstown now. And if you look at the buildings at the back now, that was the old co-op building just as we come up. You can't really see it, but just past it, but that was the old co-op building in Earl Street. There we go. And again, just look at the station. And here we go, this is our destination today. We're actually in Ellstown Station. And you're probably wondering why I've come to Ellstown Station to do a vlog. Because Ellstown Station's got a hell of a lot of history. And I just let this train go off and then I'll tell you more about it. Like I say, no ticket inspector on that train. Many a time you could, if you wanted and dishonest, you could jump the train and get here for free because nobody takes your tickets coming off. But I always pay because if you ever do get caught, you can actually get banned off the railway and fined. But there it goes, on its way to Manchester now, and dead on time as well. Like I say, not work any farther. If you see the end of the line, they have hidden cameras on a lot of the end of these lines now. Well, I'll just show you another little sign here. You can see the sign there, do not cross this line. But another sad thing to see, whenever you get a lot of railways now that's had some suicides, they always get talk to us signs up, which is good to see from the Samaritans. They do some great work. But we'll not cross that line because we'll just set the camera off. But yeah, this is Ellstown Station, and this is the reason we're here today. And a lot of people don't realise the history of this station. Obviously the 1830 line came this way on that great day, the first railway in the world, George Stephenson. But what we've come to look at today is two things about this station that people don't realise. And what you're looking at over there, the station building, that is the oldest station building that's still on a railway line that's live in the world. That is the oldest station. People talk a lot about Rainhill and the Rainhill trials, but this actual station building is the oldest one, and it's older than Rainhill. A lot of people don't realise that. That's why we've come today, you know. 1830. The line, obviously, you know about the Great Day, but the building we're looking at now is 1835, and it's the oldest building on a railway station, an oldest building on a railway line that's still in use today. And unfortunately, they don't use the building now. It's locked up, and the reason it was locked up is vandalism, because this can be a bit of a lonely station at night. This can be a bit of a lonely station, and I'm going to go over the bridge in a minute, because what's famous about this station, as well as that building over there, that is the oldest building in the world that's still on a live railway, is this station is what they call a triangular station, and there's only one other station in this country, and that's in Shipley, West Yorkshire. They call it a triangle station, this, and you're wondering, how can it be a triangle station? I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm going to show you something else that people won't know a lot about, and my dad told me about this many years ago, when we used to go to Ellstown Market, and we jumped the train and then on to Manchester. That is the oldest building on a railway line, on a live line. But if you look above there, right on the chimney, you can see a weather vane with northwest, east and south, and a rail steam train on top. You never guess who made that and who picked it up, and who put it up, sorry. And I know some of you probably will guess, but that was Fred Dibner that put that up. Fred Dibner put that up, and I've got it in a boot when he actually put it up, and he made it all and put it up for Ellstown Station, because he used to come through this line quite a lot. And that's another piece of history that you'll probably not see in a lot of places. But again, if you look down on the other side, I'll show you on the bridge, actually, I can show you better. But this is Elderstown, and if you go right up to the top there, where the Ram's Head pub is, John Gilmore will know that, because we used to go for a pint in there when we was working in Earl Street some Fridays and have a bit of dinner, is Earl Street. My first store for the co-op, and I'm going to thank again Noel Swift for that, the guy who had faith in me in my 20s, and I never looked back from that store. And then from that store to the brand new superstore, my first management career. And if you look directly in front of you, you'll see Tisdall's Electrical, that's been there donkey's years, and they were our rival enemy in the heyday. We used to always compare prices and try and beat them on service, and we must have took a boatload of trade off Tisdall's, but they were an independent company, local people, and they're still around today. And I'm telling you now, if you ever want a washing machine, the prices are the same everywhere now, but these guys will do the extra mile for you. So although it was our rival enemy in the day, and they're still here, which is nice to see. Well, I'm going to go up the bridge now and show you this triangular track, as they call it. But just when I get up here, I want to show you something else as well. For all those that know Ellstown, see where they're building the flats now? that used to be a pub called the Railway, and they've knocked it all down now, and it's all houses and flats really. And it's sad really, because it's one of the oldest pubs in Ellstown. It was built in 1920, and obviously COVID come along, and it never survived. And 2020, it just got sold, and developers bought the land and knocked it down. But like a lot of these old railways, whenever you had a railway, there was always a nice pub coming off the railway line. But like I said, that takes you up to Manchester, down there to Liverpool. But I'm going to show you the other part of the track that you get to and walk to. And if you look over there, you can see one of the old railway lines that's not in use anymore, that's been cut off. And Northern Rail, you can see them going down there now. They use it like as a cut-in. But that would have been another track there. And if you just look over, you can just see one of the lines just edging along there. But the other side, like, they just use it as a cut-in. We're going to walk it and show you the building as well, but a lot of these have intercoms on now that you can actually ring to the station. Yeah, but there's the weather veil, Fred Dibner. But yeah, it's the oldest building, and it's to let now, which is sad to see. But if you can just see, we've all got the old trains on from the great day on the trails, Rainhill Trials, which is nice to see. Self-service tickets. But if you just look in, then some of the old sheds in there, sadly not used anymore. But the brickwork on it, built to last. Like I say, you'd think you're at Rainhill when you look at the station. And we're going to go down the other side, because like I say, it's a triangular platform this. And if you go this way, that leads you on to Warrington and Banky, and that gets you Chester to Wales then. Another line, overhead wires, it's just letting you know. But it's just one line, do you see it? Just one line down this line. There you go. But if you looked on the other side, there would have been another line there years ago, which is sadly gone. A lot of people don't realise this is here, to be honest with you. A lonely station, and this was the problem with Ellstown. A lot of people didn't like using it, especially at night, because you imagine if you're getting on this track here at night, would you like to be hanging around this station? I certainly wouldn't. But if you look at the other side, there would have been another line down there originally, but now it's just one line. But nice to see. And that's not just the only line. This station's bigger than you think. People don't realise how big this station is. And I'm going to keep this running, but many years ago, you see where they've got these shelters now, you never really had these, and this was a lonely station, you know. But what a building there, and it's sad that it's up for that, you know, just a sign of the times, you know. But built to last, you know, built to last. And if you look at some of the stonework on that, unbelievable. Like I said, George Stephenson, when he did something, he did it to last. But yeah, Ellstown, famous for the Ellstown market. Not as good as it used to be, but I'm sure it'll come back, because they're going to regenerate Ellstown. It's in the pipeline now. It's actually been funded and it's actually going ahead. So, which is nice to see. It's like I say, Ellstown. It's just one of the places that some people can call it, but I'll always defend it. Because it just gave me that start really. And like I say, Noel Swift, I thank him for that. Guy who had faith in me, along with a few others as well. But Ellstown wasn't actually a town, believe it or not. It actually got the name. There was a guy called Hardman Earl who did a lot on the railways, and if you go down Earl Street years ago, they were all like little terraced houses, and they were company houses for the railways. If you look just over there and you go right behind them big buildings, Vulcan Works are over there. Vulcan Works building engineers, and they built a lot of the engines and everything to do with the railway. That Hardman Hurls, that was the guy who was in charge of it all, and he built cottages and houses for all the people that were working there, and that's how the name became Ellstown, because it wasn't really known as a town, and they took his name. So just remember that, Hardman Earl, and that's how it got its name, Ellstown. I was wondering why it got like a funny name, and I didn't know that until I started reading up. But this is a triangular platform, and like I say, we're leaving this one now. We've seen the one just behind there, but they had a lot of complaints years ago about this line, that this was never lit up. I think only from the 80s onwards, maybe late 80s, they started lighting it up. But there was loads of complaints because there was no fences down the side like they've got now. So you imagine walking down here as it was going dark, or even dark, going for your train. I tell you what, and there was no fences. No wonder people felt afraid, And I've heard a lot of people say that about Oldham railways. In Oldham, before the cuts just came in, they wasn't funded, these railways. The government did nothing for British Rail and to get these stations survive, so they all went to ruin, a lot of them. And like I said, this one, it was renowned for people not wanting to come down this side of the station. And if you wanted to get to Warrington or to go to Wales, Chester, you had to walk this line to get here. But you imagine that on a dark night with no lights. Tell you what, I wouldn't be walking it, I'll be running it. But again, everything dates back to that great day in 1830. And I'm not going to keep going on about the 1830, because I'm going to do that full line on a blog. And we've walked most of it now. We've just got edge hill cuttings to do, echoes to do, and then on to the 1830 warehouse in Manchester. But this line, that's why it's called a triangular station, because it's on like a triangle. And this part of the line, the trains have to go very slow when they slow right down coming in, because it's got one of the worst bends on a station in this country, because it swings right round. And I'll show you more as we get near the end, and I'm not going to go right to the end because, like I say, forever getting towed off. But you gotta be careful, because like, look, live wires overhead, and you wouldn't think they'd have that wire coming along a station, would you? Well, people, that's very, but there you go. that takes you onto Wales. You can get the train to Wales from there. 2 lines, but what a bend, and that's why they come in at a slow pace on this station. It's renowned for it. But what a morning again on